these guys are the calves that we clipped the backs out of today. Need the creep feeder in because they've been fed creep in the field, and then when we brought them in, we haven't brought the feeder in. So Roy's gone across and got the feeder the other day, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna put the creep feeder in here. Just need to take a gate off, so Roy's just gone in with the pallet forks. Just throw that gate against the wall with the other big one. These are heavy gates, you do not want them dropping on you. Yeah. Up, right there. Perfect. Up. Let go. So Rose's gone to get the creep feeder. Ordinarily we'd be storing these guys about now. Instead we're doing this job. One cow who's got to be into everything. First cow with bolus today, and she is an asshole. Get back. Naughty thing. A creep feeder in what would be like the calving pens. Taking the gate off, that means we can get around the back, the calves can get in and the cows can't, which is, and it just, yeah, perfect. Just gonna get on and muck out. TB testing in the morning. We've already had these guys all through today, and it's not been a stressful thing at all. There's not that many of them. And then we've just got a bunch of dairy stock down that way, 60 odd, and then up here we've got the heifers, continental heifers, and then obviously we've got everything that's at Big Roy's house, Roy's dad. So while Roy's mucking out, I'm going to tell you a story. I wait till he has mucked out though, because it's quite loud. So, my story. It's a bit of a long one, buckle in. You've just watched me and Roy, me actually on that one, but then Roy, bolusing cows. Now why are we doing this? I posted that a little clip of that video onto Instagram and TikTok, and the majority of the comments I got were things like, why are you doing it? A couple of people had asked what I'm giving them, so this is just to clear up why we're doing it and what I'm giving them. So we moved to Lather in 2016. The first year we calved one more calf than we had animals because something had twins. Everything lived. We thought we had cracked it. We were good at this farm in malarkey. Oh my God. The year after that brought us down to earth with a massive bump, and I mean huge. So for the subsequent years after that, we lost probably on average 10% of calves a year. And what was happening is the calves were falling out of the cows absolutely fine. And it's stupid because now you look back, it's so obvious. At the time, it was not obvious. So the calves were falling out of the cows. They were just lethargic. Some of them were, I think, overdue, so they were slightly big. They were very, and I don't mean this, take this as exactly how they were. they were very nah, like they couldn't latch on. They just had nothing about them. They didn't get going as such. They just petered out, basically. The calves were born, they petered out. And that is if they lived. That's if they dropped out live. Half the time they were dropping out dead. And it was like, we could not figure out what we were doing wrong. Like, seriously. So, first port of call, we rang the vets. They tested for BVD, yonis, all this random stuff. Nothing, wasn't that. We ended up taking calves to postmortems after they died. Returned nothing, no information. Did blood tests, nothing. Just wasn't really anything to write home about. Even took, when a calf had popped out and we didn't think it was viable and it was going to go the same way, we took it to the vets live and got them to check it over as a live animal, not just obviously as a dead one, thinking that that would yield some kind of, results. Nothing. We thought it was the bull, so we got rid of the bull. We had a new bull, you see, in 2016, because we'd upped numbers considerably. Nothing to do with the bull. We thought it might have been. It's just we tried everything, and I mean everything. We were absolutely distraught. It got to the point where you were calving and it'd be like, no, you go out and check. No, you go out and check, because we thought that we were just going to go out and find something dead. We started giving the cows bovigen scour. We started immunising for BVD, bovigen scour, or bovigen, or whatever the hell it's called. It is to prevent calf scour, and it comes out in the colostrum, basically. Boosts the colostrum of the cow. Our calves weren't even getting colostrum because they were just so feckless. Well, they were, but do you know what I mean? They just couldn't. They had no get up and go. Anyway, this carried on for, bear in mind, we moved in 2016 and we solved the problem last year. That'll give you an inkling of how long this went on for. We asked for help and we asked for help. We just did not know what the hell we were doing wrong. But at the time, we didn't say to everybody, oh, we're having massive issues. Because you don't, do you? You don't. Let's be perfectly honest. You don't, do you? Someone says, how's your calving going? You go, oh, yeah, it's all right. Yeah, maybe lost one or two. Yeah, no. So we solved the problem when we spoke to somebody about it. And it wasn't a professional. It was our mate, Chaz. And we'd gone to pick some calves up from Chaz's house. There are videos of us doing this, and there's probably videos of the conversations surrounding this one. And Chaz used to rent some buildings across the road from us, literally across the road at our neighbour's house. And he said, on an off-the-cuff comment, oh, we had hellish problems with iodine when we were there. What? What do you mean problems with iodine? How can you get problems with iodine? Oh, yeah. They had troubles with fertility. They had trouble with all sorts of things with the cows that were kept across the road from us. Honestly, mind blown. He immediately went home. Sorry, I'm kicking straw out. Went home and cracked a few postmortems out from some calves. One of the calves, the one that I actually looked at, it had been taken to the vets live. It wasn't a viable calf. It was massive. It was big. I've got a picture of it. I put the picture in. It was huge and it was grey, I remember, and it was beautiful. Honestly, God, it was a stunning animal. Anyway, big and grey, and a tongue like that. Never got on, never sucked. It was useless. We tried everything. Anyway, day after, petered out and died. And this was if the calves actually lived enough to get out of the mums. Half of them were just dying. And I managed to translate some Latin, right? I don't know what the hell it was. And it was low in iodine. And we were like, what? Spoke to veterinaries again, and they said, you'll have to bolus. So we went out and we bought some boluses with some iodine in. Turns out it was like giving paracetamol to a brain tumour. Just wasn't good enough. But we only found this out when we, in an off-chance conversation with a lass called Heidi, who, very, very clever lady, works for Scottmin now. And Heidi had told me all about bolusing and the problems with iodine deficiency. Heidi gave me an education that day I will probably never forget, because we had been through years of crappy calvings. It just becomes standard that calvings were crap. We were crap, do you know what I mean? Came and she sat around our kitchen table and she prescribed. She told us what boluses to get, and they were high iodine boluses. And we got all the cows in when she told us to, and we gave them the boluses and we did what she said. And this year, I could cry, it's so ridiculous. The final year of calving suckler cows, we had one fatality, and that was twins that were coming backwards, and Roy had to get the vet to give them a hand. Out of all of them, and after all those years, we've managed to solve it the year we were giving up. Wow. Although those cows, they're not in calf. We didn't put a bull out, if you remember, because obviously the jerseys are coming, the robots are going in. We haven't put a bull out. Those were the boluses that were left over, and we're giving them the cows because there is more benefits to the boluses than just the iodine deficiency for us. Signs of, for us personally, I'm not going to list all the signs of iodine deficiency, because all of the placentas from the Anguses were withheld. There was a fair few. I went through a spate of having retained afterbirths and having to pull them out and stuff, and it was disgusting. And attaching bags of SH1T on the bottom of them so there was a bit of weight and it pulled them out. Now I had it in my head and it was all the Anguses. So I was blaming the bull. Turns out it was nothing to do with that. That was a coincidence. It was the fact they were heifers and they are more susceptible. So I've been told, I could be wrong, but they are more susceptible to having an iodine deficiency. Until you've had a problem, a serious problem, you will not take seriously the need for minerals and vitamins. Honestly, no amount of medication from the vets was going to solve that issue until we took seriously the minerals. Flicks, mineral buckets, mineral boluses, they are so important, and I cannot recommend them enough for people. Then to top it off, the more you talk about this subject, the more you find out that other people in the area are struggling and they didn't know what it was, and you're just like, this is crazy. So a friend of ours, Alan, we speak to him regularly, Roy speaks to him a lot. He had exactly the same issue. Exactly the same issue, and you're just like, what is going on? I was speaking to an absolutely lovely girl from, they call it Meburn goats. Goats have the same issue. She is having the same issues. I can't understand how it isn't more of a wide known fact. But problems like that, how is the iodine not the first thing that we jump to? It's just crazy, honestly it's crazy. It would have saved us years of heartache and stress just knowing that. So I hope by sharing this, somebody else goes, I'll just have a think about that. And that's enough for me. That is enough for me. That's all I want. You look at it in a really logical sense. We'd moved to a bigger farm, which meant that we didn't have to source crop from all over the place. So we used to buy like 20 bales off him, 30 bales off him, and pull them all in. And then we used to feed a lot of bales from different places. And I think they're narrowing it down to a deficient area and just feeding from crop on that small circle that we were cropping. I think that was the issue. That there was a calf that I had to skin another calf to put him on because it had died. I perfected making little tailored jackets, and it shouldn't have been the case, because let's remember, for me to have had to skin something, it means that a calf's died. I shouldn't have been that good at it. So we haven't been using the Keenan. They're just being fed one lot of grass silage, and it just seems as easy to just run the bobcat back and forth 4 times than get the Keenan on the track to take it down there, fill it. Big bucket that was for the Merlot, but it also fits on the bobcat, so we can fluff it up with the shear grab, and then we've been bringing it down. The only downside to doing this is with the Keenan you don't get a lot of waste, and as you can see, there's a little bit of waste in the bottom. Not a terrible amount, but there is a little bit of waste in the bottom. Took far too long for very, very, very little satisfaction. Lighter note, the piggles. Oh, friendly piggles. They're not that friendly, to be fair. Oh, I've got a new phone, kids, so we can zoom out to 0.5. And instead of 1, 2, 3, we now go to 1, 2, 5. Yes, that's right. I can zoom in times 5. Other than that, I'm just going to make friends with the piggles. Piggles. We've got to the end of the silage pit. Don't actually know what we're going to have in here next. Rice has probably beets. So we just need to open first cut with second cut on top and see how it's doing. It's not the end of the world, is it? It's funny, the bits with side sheets on and the bits that have got mould on. No idea why. No idea. Oh my god, that is so sweet. Smells like... Smells nice. Gotta dig a bit out and throw it over there. Keenan will only load from one side, unlike a tub mixer. The workings are at one side. You notice the shear grab's cut it out, like actually cut it. It wasn't doing that with that dry second cut from last year. It was just like, just grabbing handfuls. It was like a fingers. Impressions, pleased. Loud. Really pleased. That's good. That's really good. Cut was sweaty, wasn't it? It was minging. It was dry and then it was mouldy. There was no in between. Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. Getting on me. So obviously this stuff, this is actually going to be fed to cows that are milking. Mind blown how this has actually come around. Yeah, that second cut, you can see the difference. This is like hay, look at it. The sweaty, crappy bit from the front. And it's amazing already. Oh my God. Yes! Look how that is cutting out already. This is what it's meant to be like. Just gonna go and check if the bung's in the Keenan. Misery, misery. Bung's out of the Keenan. Let's have a look, see if she's filled with water. And there is, however, a piece of plastic in that's blown off the top of the silage pit. So somehow I'm gonna have to get that out. It's turning on for 10 minutes and leaving just to get any scratchy bits out. I'll have to climb in and get that bit of plastic out. Might be wondering why we are tipping silage at the back here. So, excuse me looking like absolute death. Our Keenan is a right-hand feed out. I've said this before, if you've been watching a long time, you'll totally get it. Our Keenan is a right-hand feed out, which means that the PTO runs from the tractor to the back of the machine. On a normal Keenan, the workings are in between the tractor and the Keenan, the white bit. Our white bit's at the back. This means that it is more than prone to breaking shear bolts, as in daily. You were to shove silage, blocks of silage in like that, it would just break straight away. And I know, it's probably shouldn't be like that, but it just is the way it is. And the layout of our sheds meant that it had to be like that. I'm walking past it now, so I'll show you. My hand feed out Keenans are like hen's teeth, and we found one almost straight away, which was just, oh, you could not have made it up. The PTO is there and it runs the whole way along underneath the vehicle. Obviously, we need to be fairly careful. So what we do to avoid breaking shear bolts, because we can't be asked lying on our backs underneath it, is we just drop it on the floor first. Yes, it makes an untidy pit. I know. And all the dairy boys with the neat little perfect pits go, oh, this is awful. I don't really care. It just is what it is. And it works for us. Notice, really wet. If you notice, both of our sheds, both the cubicle shed and the shed next door, they are both set up with the right hand feed out. And why we can't feed on the outside is because the handling system is here. The trough is on the other side of that wall. So Roy reverses down here, spills out and drives out, and that's how it works. I have been on doing paperwork today, really bored in the office, and I've also been on doing some artwork, hence why stupid hair just out my eyes. I don't normally look like this. This is me looking old. This is my age. Granny spec.